Peace and greetings, family. You're listening to WHCR 90.3 FM, and this is PJ Show with your host, Pojanee PJ Fleury. Today, we have a very exciting show. We have Harlem's own JamesLitkett, who has many different titles, wears many different hats, and I'm so honored to have him on with us today. Welcome to the show, James.
Honored to be here, PJ.
Great. Thank you so much. And please tell us your official title.
My official title, my main title that I go with is Chaplin JamesLitkett, Trauma Specialist, First Responder.
Oh, wow. There's so many things in there. There's so many great things in that official title. So, Chaplin James, you are a first responder as well as a trauma-informed, did I get that right? Trauma-informed counselor?
Yes.
Okay. That is amazing. So all of that to say that you assist people, you provide guidance, through your chaplaincy and your trauma-informed approach.
Yeah. Mind, body, spirit.
Mind, body, spirit. And you have a program. What is it called?
Now We Rise.
Now We Rise is we forgot to put media specialist in there. So that is the name of your program, formerly on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and now is living on your YouTube?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You can still look me up there. I still have stuff that's there. Every now and then I go to expand it, make another show, but it hasn't happened in a while. So it's just stuck at the last show that we were done.
I've actually had the pleasure to be featured as well. You came out to our health and wellness fair at the Harlem State Office building and covered that event for us, and so that was really great.
Yeah, that's part of my thing. What I do, I want to show our people that you can do and you can be, because what seems to be the problem with a lot of our people is we get frustrated and downgraded. We don't believe we can do or we can be. So I like the people that are doing things, and I like to show others that it can be done. You just have to do it. You know, people put too many roadblocks in their way and build too many walls around it. No, just go and do it. It may be hard, it may not be easy, but if you want to do it, make it happen.
And that is so true. You know, I grew up, I'm an 80s baby, and I was hearing, representation matters, different types of things. TV got really diverse as I grew up. I know the generation before was kind of rare to see melanated people on the screen, fulfilling different roles, portraying different types of people, professionals, things like that. And so I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't understand really why it was such a big deal until I saw a Black woman inventor, melanated sister inventor, and she was on WABC on the show with Sandra Bookman, where she took over Gil Noble's spot. Show is called Here and Now. And she talked about her experience inventing, and she has an association, and she was having an event. And it was in our, obviously in the area, and it was so accessible. So I was able to meet her. So it was like from the TV to me talking to her on the phone. And I thought it was so great. She actually picks up every call. She gives out her number, and it's her that answers directly. And that was such a life-changing experience to me. She inspired me so much. And so that's when I really understood, like, okay, we need us on the big screen as much as possible.
Yes, we do. We need us doing and being and sharing, you know, because we have lost hope through trials and tribulations of the 400 years of us being here in America, which I take everything back to, and I try to bring us forward. We need that because it has beaten us down, it has traumatized us, and it has left us, I call it walking wounded. It has left us wounded and broken in different phases and stuff like that. So you got to try and repair that and bring a person back to wholeness. However you can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I like what you're saying, because I think that we were looking for a way to explain why some of us have some issues that you can say is like generational, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't know exactly what it was until Sister Frances Cressing Wilson, I believe, is the last name, but she identified our PTSD, the post-traumatic slave disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard about it. I heard about it right after college and things like that, and it just clicked for me because I studied psychology. So it immediately, when she identified it, I said, "Oh yes, you know, as a people, right, going through such a traumatic experience and over generations, where was the work to heal?" I mean, obviously, psychology was just being birthed as, and we still don't understand the mind fully, right? We're just taking a stab in the dark.
And also, we're the canaries in the mine, so we get it first, and we have it the most. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to turn it around, it's a project with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that she identified that, because I think it really helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, put up that mirror. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has.
And so there's work being done, right? I think the first step was identifying it. And I think there's been many people that have sought to address that and to heal, but very, like, on an individual basis. But I see your work as more of a collective community organizing, helping to heal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that being that now I know and I have to do something, I want to help as many as I can. See what I'm saying? I want, like, numbers to so I can feel effective and efficient. No longer, I'm no longer satisfied with one or two here or there. You know, my next thing that I'm working on, which has seemed to be a colossal problem getting started, I want to do three-day retreats. I want to take people away from the city, away from their comfort zone, and have 3 days of just working on them, helping them to free their mind. Because you got to get them out of the comfort zone, and, you know, so they can sit down and think. And 3 whole days of just that. And I want to also introduce, I think if you have a whole, because I want mindfulness in there, I like mindfulness. Reiki, I like Reiki, even though I don't really understand it, but I think it'll be something good for the people. Reiki and, say, body massage and stuff like that. All kind of things for the mind, body, and spirit to help you be the best you could be. You see what I'm saying? I have a whole thing I want to introduce. Eventually we'll get that done. But we're still working on it.
That sounds so relaxing. So
yes,
amazing.
I want it to be invigorating, relaxing, and challenging to the mind. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be all of those wrapped up into one.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I ran into a doctor, and I would say like one of our doctors, like a cultural doctor, right? He specializes in holistic medicine, herbs, and things like that. And he's always going to the spa. And he said, you know, busy people or, you know, entrepreneurs, especially that's starting out, budgets are tight and they're just focused on their business, or organizers just focusing on their cause. And they think that going to the spa is a luxury. But he explained,
no, it's not.
It's actually a necessity.
Yes.
Because if you're constantly going and you're not replenishing your mind, your body, your spirit, and you're not taking time to do that, because we only have 24 hours in a day, right? And so if 18 of those or more is dedicated to work on a daily basis. You know, I've been an entrepreneur for a while now, and I was definitely guilty of it. Like, okay, got to get to the destination, reach this milestone, and just not thinking about myself. I really put myself on the back burner, and I took time, and so my group of fellow entrepreneurs that also got the information from the doctor, they started going, and they go, if not at least once a week, but every other week. They get coupons off a Groupon app, and they go, and they committed themselves to that. And the times that I have gone, I can truly, honestly say I felt a difference. I felt a weight. And even if it was just for 5 hours or something like that, because remember, right, we're talking about 18 hours over multiple years, and just to have like 5 hours of just paying attention to myself and what felt good for my body. And I allowed myself to really disconnect, right? You have to leave your phone in the locker and everything anyway. You can't walk around with your phone. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. People need to get away from the phone and just get into themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I say about that? Most of us at this age, say 30, 40, 50 or whatever, most of us are that age, and we know not our mind. We know not how it works, what makes it better, what helps, you know what I'm saying? So I take that in a more inward phase and say many people don't know how they think. Like, you ever heard some people say, well, I woke up in a bad mood. No, you didn't wake up in a bad mood. You chose to do that. You thought about that, and then what you're going to find out is your day is going to get worse as it goes on, because you already have that negative aspect in it. Most people don't know how the mind works, and that's what I want to change. I want to give you a better understanding of how your mind works, how you can control it and use it to be more effective and efficient. I always go with being effective and efficient. I believe humans should be more effective and efficient. We're the smartest animals on the planet, supposed to be, but we are the dumbest in some basic ways. Yeah, think about it. You know, the birds have more sense than we do. sometimes, with the things we do and stuff like that. We have to be better with that.
I think, and your work is so important because I think, and I'm talking from experience, that once you realize that there are these different aspects to yourself, like the mind is not your spirit is not your mind, and then you have a body. So
yes,
there's three things going on in this one entity, right? So we're complex creatures, right?
Right.
And even the mind, most people do not know, right? And that's right. a big effort right now. You see the government doing things like through the Be Well program that the former first, lady, of Mayor of New York City, Charlene, I believe, de Blasio. De Blasio's wife put in the Be Well here in New York City, that program, and a big part of their program was training people and giving people a certificate of mental health. Just understanding, right? It wasn't like you're not a counselor when you walk out of this program, but you understand mental health. And I think that was so important to do, because if you can't identify it, if you can't call it a name, if you can't put that to what resources need to come into play to mitigate it, then we're just shooting in the dark. And honestly, why the mental health crisis even happened, because there was more and more trauma. We've been through so much. I'm so sorry for my son. He's like 7 years old and he already lived through a pandemic. He's already, there's like 10 wars going on right now. So but
he has a great mother that will help him through though.
Yes, absolutely, because we have to focus and identify what things help our mental health, what things support our mental health, and what
doesn't.
So, we watch the news. We were watching the news often in our house, and especially, through the pandemic and just other things, BLM, that whole thing that happened with George Floyd. There's so much. Americans in general were so traumatized by recent events. If we're not careful, if we don't pay attention to it, this is going to manifest in different ways. And this is what happened in the 80s, in the 90s, early 2000s, where people did not understand mental health enough. There were not enough resources, and it became this huge elephant in the room that nobody wanted to talk about until Mrs. de Blasio came along. And I'm using that term, Mrs. de Blasio, loosely, because I think they were heading for a divorce. But anyway, that's political gossip. But
No, man, you want to know something? I think now is like I'm finally coming into my own, because I remember, say, like 3 to 5 years ago, I tell people what I do and they say, huh? Now, you have a better understanding. And now more, I've noticed that change too. Oh, really? Oh, that's very interesting. Whereas before people say, huh, what are you talking about? Oh, so change. And then there are a lot of grants coming out now for things that people that do what I'm doing. I'm also on the mayor's faith-based task force, which you had a couple of meetings. The last one, they're getting together with the police departments and things like that for the people that are doing the stop the violence in the streets. They're putting something together for them, and that we're very hopeful for. And they're developing a grant for us so we can get paid for it. It won't have to be just free volunteer work anymore. So that I was very happy for. And see all these things now, and see most of the stuff I was saying should have been started right after the pandemic, right after the 2 years we had of being in seclusion. But it wasn't. But it is beginning now. And I'm saying good. It's good. It's about time.
Yeah, and I even see that it has reached the young people. I mean, of course, they have everything they want to know about everything in the world at their fingertips. But they, recently just have been coming. I see the younger generation becoming way more aware, but there's been things like a conscious effort, right, through institutions and things like that, where you see that they've been using meditation in high schools and in middle schools and things like that. But they're just hyper aware. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they need it the most, because they're the younger upcoming people, and they have it so much worse now with social media and everything like that. The suicide rate it's so high. I was watching a show the other day, and it was said there's like one to three teenagers commit suicide I think it was every hour, something like that. And I said, wow, that is so high. With the teasing of each other and the bullying and all the other things that go along with social media, they have it so much worse. I remember when I had a problem in school, as long as I got home, I was fine. I didn't have to worry about it to the next day when I went back to school, But now, these days, it's not like that. It's like 24/7. And once if they start picking on you, it can never end. It may never end.
Mm-hmm. And I, of course, as a parent now, that's something that's a big concern for me. And you're right, because I grew up in the 80s, early 90s, and where I was in the same boat. I didn't have to worry about that stuff following me home. Mm-hmm. And so now with this interconnected world, I'm very concerned. So one of the things
do you allow your child to have a cell phone first?
No. I mean, but he's still little. He's 7. So,
okay.
So I think
you'd be surprised. There's some 7-year-olds have a phone. They demand a phone, matter of fact.
No. We don't
No. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, we're reasonable on this side,
okay.
Just using wisdom, because actually one of the things, though, even though he doesn't have a phone, he does have a tablet, and he recently started playing Roblox, and then I saw a news report, which we were playing the news, and I pulled him over and I said, sit down and watch it, because there's certain valuable things on the news. And this was one of them where they were explaining an 11-year-old girl went to meet a grown man. They're not sure if she knew it was a grown man or if she thought that the person was her age or in her age group. But she went out to meet this person and was kidnapped, unfortunately. And she has not been found yet. So I, want him to be aware. And we don't have to be afraid anymore. I think a lot of times they try to hide things before from children, but now everything is out in the open, and the best thing to do is communicate. So that's one of the things that I've been doing is I'm in that child's business. Okay, I want to know everything. Tell me everything. if don't talk to anybody really, like don't talk to anybody you don't know, especially on robot, you know. So we talk, and there's rules and there's boundaries that
you gotta have that open conversation. When you don't have that open conversation, they're gonna go to somebody for it, because you believe it. You're not stopping anything. They're gonna have it. So it's better to do it with you than without you. Because if they do it without you, no telling who the source is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a great thing. See, I knew it was a great one.
Thank you. And one of the things that I noticed with the young people, though, that I thought was actually good was them actually being able to identify things that are wrong in especially like in relationships or with people. They were able to identify it and say, okay, that's toxic. And that became a word, like in the regular vernacular, regular vocabulary of young people. If they saw a couple and things weren't right between that couple, they're like, oh, they're toxic. And I thought that was so great that they could actually identify that and identify it with a good term, right? Because who wants toxicity, right? Like, this is bad news. And so I'm thinking that they're becoming a little more aware, right? With even calling out those types of things, those types of behaviors. Because before, people were afraid. You know, people would look the other way. You know, that's so-and-so problem.
I think it was not only they were aware. People were aware, but it was the fear, and it was because of the closed-mindedness of the ancient eras. You know, that's, you know, you see something, but you don't say nothing. Whereas now, as you see something, say something. People knew it was wrong.
Record it, post it.
Yeah. You know, whereas we knew it was wrong, we felt it was wrong, but everybody's into minding their own business. There's no more of the community affairs kind of thing that it used to be. I remember one time I was coming home from school, and me and some of my friends were throwing rocks, and my aunt just happened to, I don't know what she was doing coming down that block anyway, but she happened to see me, and first she spanked me, and then I had rocks in my hand. I went to throw them away. She said, no, keep the rocks. We going home and find out why you have them anyway. Then she took me home to my mother's place. You know, it was the community kind of thing. And I never threw rocks no more. But,
it takes a village.
It was none of that. It was none of that, but it's becoming that again, which I feel is a good thing. My thing is, what goes on around me, I see something, I say something, and you know, most people tell me, Mom, I've been there. I said, what goes on around me is my business. So I'm into like everything, and I advise people and stuff like that, sometimes whether they want it or not, you know, but as long as it's in their best interest, I do that. And I notice a lot of that goes on here. Everybody's, you know, people want to do their own thing, be they right or wrong, and they think no one else should say something. But I don't live in that world anymore, and that world will not be around me.
That is so good, and that's really where I think a lot of society is going, because everybody has a platform now. Everybody has a mic, you know, and a camera. And so I think, you know, we're gonna slowly, you know, more and more people will get there, and there will be stronger community bonds. Because as long as we keep that on a positive level, right, where we bring back auntie, you know, street aunties that would roll up on you. They don't have to be your family, But I know when I was younger, and and people, of course, generations before me, when I was younger, I know if a older person, an adult, told me anything in the street, I would listen. I was trained like that. I was trained to listen to the teachers, listen to those that are in authority that have your best interest.
And you know something that doesn't go on anymore? Because when I was younger, I lived in Harlem on 34th and 8th Avenue. I remember in the summertime, we used to leave the door open, let the breeze flow through the house. That doesn't happen anymore. And I remember, like, the whole building was only 5 stories there. And everyone knew each other and everyone was friends. That doesn't happen anymore. We're becoming islands, and I don't like it. Everybody's in an island. They come home, they close their door, and they have nothing to do with the next person. That's not a good way of being. We are social animals. We need to get back to that and, be there once again, because no matter where you at, what your station in life is, you can't live alone. And you shouldn't even try.
I mean, whenever, these shooter, these mass shooter incidents and things like that, and they talk about the warning signs, and one of the key warning signs for the people who commit these type of crimes is that they were a loner.
Yeah.
Right? So they have been putting out some information. There's even a nice Afrobeat song, Did You Check on Me? She says in the song, you saw me drinking a little bit more. You saw me sleeping a little bit more. You saw me acting up on social media, acting not, like not myself. Did you check on me? Did you call and
see, that's what happens. You're withdrawing. The person is withdrawing, going into the shell of whatever it may be, being alone, and writing on social media, writing, how they're depressed, their life is, they're showing signs. It's going somewhere. Someone is getting it, but are you saying anything? Are you doing anything about it? And these are the things we can't allow to happen, because we wind up all suffering,
Absolutely. And there's been incidences, I think maybe like one or two incidences where a parent or like a family member turned in someone that they were concerned could do something. They saw them building up the ammunition. It's like, wait a minute, something is not right. And that takes a big person to turn in your family member, to turn in your child. But if it's to save others, right? Because we're living in a community, so we're not just responsible for our family members; we're responsible for everyone and everyone's community.
Or you could help them. Well, the best way you can. Well, whatever get them to talk to a therapist or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do, but do something. It's like, to do nothing is like a crime. It's a crime against humanity.
Right, absolutely. Now we're going to take a short break. We're going to actually listen to this amazing track by Nubia the MC, and I thought that was very appropriate. I was thinking about, what songs to play for this show, and Nubia the MC definitely came to mind because she's the one that introduced us, right? Years ago, before the pandemic. Yeah, before the pandemic, she invited you to come out to Uptown Soul at Ross Space, and you came through, and ever since then we've been best friends. And you came out and
I still remember, but I didn't remember Matter of fact, I forgot how we met. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, Nubia introduced us. Okay.
Yes. And so Sister Nubia, the MC, this is her track, The Voice in the Darkness, off of her album, The Uptown Queen.
An original woman is on the mic with the rhymes. Behold this Nubia from the Bronx this time. No other female rapper can compare with mine, because the lyrics that I write are so sublime. As you hear wise words written from my pen, she did it once before and she can do it again. Don't grab the microphone, I'm not gonna pass it to you. Sit in the audience, behave like you were asked to do. I make you clap, feet dance, and bob your head. Nubia keeps rocking hip hop, my friend. On the stage, in the studio, or standing in the cypher, I can go from storytelling, rap to freestyling, kick a lyric and I spit it. You're so confused, like hieroglyphics on the pyramid. I show and prove I'm not an amateur, I'm a pro at this. My 16 bars are over, now let's go with this. Hey yo, the voice in the darkness coming through. They came in the place and they paid to see you. Well, I'm the grown lady you've been waiting for. Nubia, superstar, shine a light on her. You make you totally ignore other chick MCs. Nubia's top lady, that's the way it be. Have you heard around town? She's in full effect. I'm from the boogie down Bronx, what do you expect? An original woman is on the microphone. Pay attention, Russell Kira's going in the zone. In the music room, he's like a scientist, putting all the beats together so it sounds like this. He makes a track from scratch and puts it in the computer. Gets on the turntables, pass the mic to Nubia. I got bars like an R&B singer. DJ E-Man cuts the record with only 7 fingers. Got all the DJs squirming under his thumb. At the end of a battle, he's the only one. I'm the uptown queen, queen of the underground. I travel around so I can't be found, disappearing in the crowd like a mystery. The microphone near my mouth is like a kiss to me. I know you want me to continue, that's your greatest wish, but my 16 bars are over, now let's go with this. Hey yo, the voice in the darkness coming through. They came in the place and they paid to see you. Well, I'm the grown lady you've been waiting for. Nubia, superstar, shine a light on her. You make you totally ignore other chick MCs. Nubia's top lady, that's the way it be. Have you heard around town? She's in full effect. I'm from the boogie down Bronx, what do you expect? There's wisdom in the rhythm, in the voice in the darkness. Listen very closely and you guarantee success. To be or not to be is the decision. Fast forward to the future, to the core of the prison. Focus with foresight at a light year's distance. Put the truth in my rhyme like 1 Corinthians. I suggest you pay attention and let the truth linger, cause the messenger will poof as a snap of a finger. There and then you check again. Douse your eyes with Visine to clear your blurry vision. The blessed black one has spoken. She did it 360, broke law like a loose Newport. You're all caught up in the aura of the audio, produced by the voice, flip the script in my portfolio. And then you hopelessly collapse, relax. The lyrics are so potent, you're forced to relapse into a deep sleep sedated by my chemistry. Finally you revive this in your mind like a memory. Make your head go bopping up and down just like this. You're forever possessed by the voice in the darkness. Hey yo, the voice in the darkness coming through. They came in the place and they paid to see you. Well, I'm the grown lady you've been waiting for. Nubia, superstar, shine a light on her. You make you totally ignore other chick MC. Nubia's top lady, that's the way it be. Have you heard around town? She's in full effect. I'm from the boogie down Bronx, what do you expect?
Welcome back. You are listening to WHCR 90.3 FM, and you are listening to PJ's show, and I'm your host, of course, Pojanee PJ Fleury. We've been talking to Brother JamesLitkett out of Harlem, and of course, you know, WHCR is the voice of Harlem, so definitely appropriate. We just listened to Nubia the MC off of her album, The Uptown Queen, her track, The Voice in the Darkness, and she's also in Harlem. And so this is a little, you know, our Harlem family right here coming together. and I'll play another track of hers later on in the show as well. So going back to our conversation, Brother James, I want to understand exactly like what the role of a chaplain is. Can you give us more information about that?
It'll be hard for me to explain the role of a chaplain. I can tell you what my role is, because when I do something, I usually take it further and beyond the regular role, if you can understand that. And I tend to do things differently. I don't say preach from, say, the Bible or do it on the religious aspect of it. I do it mostly for mind, body, and spirit on the trauma tip, and teaching you how to free your mind, which that is my process. You see what I'm saying? And I like to use, on a chaplaincy tip, I like to use God, because many people believe, or whatever is the God of your choice. I use it more as that to say, because whatever you may be you Jewish, be you Muslim or whatever, so I don't just go with, say, preaching about a God or one God. I use it as more of a spiritual enticement, let's say. That's, you know, for you to organize yourself and get with something greater than yourself.
Absolutely. And just going back to the three individual parts of ourselves, the mind, the spirit, and the body, because it's a very unique relationship between these three entities, because you could grow spiritually, right? And you're processing that psychologically, because then that's starting to translate into the material world. You see things happening differently when you have a strong spiritual foundation, especially if you had come away from that, if you had been separated from that. But when you put that all together and you see things manifesting, you know, because it happened in my own life experience where I was just astounded. I was just amazed. Like, wow, look at what I can do, making positive choices, making conscious choices, right? Because I want to be present and conscious, because it's so easy to get caught up in life and you just, you know, say whatever you want to someone, or you get into road rage and, you know, you're so mad at this person touching you off. And it's like, it's not that serious.
We as people, see, that's why I say, that's one of the reasons why I say we're supposed to be the smartest mammals on the planet, but yet we're the stupidest. We get it, you know, no, animals don't kill to kill, but humans do. What does that tell you? Animals kill because they're hungry or to eat or for food. But humans, it's very traumatic.
No, you're so right. And I look at different communities as well where violence is low, especially to the point like murder, right? Is very low among certain people. And when you analyze that, you're like, well, why, right? They don't kill themselves, like their own people, and they don't kill other people, right? And especially when you think about other groups that don't have a problem killing a person in their own community, killing one of their own. When you look at this other group, they have such a high value of themselves and each other. So even coming together is for their survival. So they have a different way of processing the same reality that we're all experiencing, right? And I've often thought about that. How can we raise the consciousness in our community, right? Because let's talk about our own community, because we know our community, right? How can we achieve that as well, where we see another person in our community and we see that person not as a threat or, you know, anything. We see that person as kinfolk, as a brother, as a sister. Any ideas? You know, we're trying
I have many ideas. I have ideas on what I've seen, and what is the problem for combating it. I also have ideas of where it came from. I've contemplated this royally. At first, it has to be, it's bringing humanity back. You know, we have lost our humanity. And I believe what has to do with that is that was the 400, 500 years of what we went through. And if you notice, that time was very traumatic for us with the beatings and stuff like that. And if you notice back, maybe not so much now, but maybe go back a couple generations, and beatings were the royal thing on how to discipline a child. And where did those beatings and stuff like that come from? Back in the slavery days. That's what that was put upon us, and that's what we thought was the way to do things. But we was taught by an evil transgressor which didn't have our goodness in mind or heart, our feelings. But we internalized that as the way that it should be, because it came from the, say, a more enlightened, smarter oppressor. Because for the longest time we thought they were it, just because, you know, the way things were. See, a lot of that is from that old trainings and stuff we internalized, and we have to get rid of that. And also we were taught by them to be, to be leery of each other, you know, like the house Negro, the field Negro, and stuff like that. And to tell the man, you know what I'm saying, be jealous of what you don't have. You know, it's a whole thing going on there. But we have to bring the humanity back, bring the love back, and first it becomes love of self, humanity of self, and then I believe once you bring it to self, you can radiate it outward. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not gonna give something you don't have. You know, I try to simplify everything what I do so people could better understand. But that's it in a nutshell. Even though it's very hard and complicated, and it changes from person to person. That's where the work comes in. You have to get each person to find a way into them to better teach, instruct, coach, or whatever other words you want to use. I don't get caught up in words. They're interchangeable. You know, so whatever word you decide to use, just use it, and that's your way in. But that's the work, finding a way in to each person.
Absolutely. Wow, this has been an amazing, amazing talk. I really appreciate you coming on to this show and addressing mental health and the mind, body, spirit contraption that we all live in.
I want you to tell me about that doctor that's doing that thing and you have coupons to go there. That sounds like something I ought to get involved with.
Oh, yes, I definitely will share that with you. Different spas that are around New York City, you can find coupons for them on Groupon. It's an app, and it's a great experience. It's very good to incorporate in your lifestyle, and not just a luxury, not just here and there, but actually incorporating that in your lifestyle. And even if you're not mobile, you can set up a spa day for yourself in the house. Turn off the phone, draw a bath, have some tea, whatever you can do to bring mindfulness. And I know that's one of your favorite things, the mindfulness and be present as well. It's so very healing and reset yourself not only physically but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. So we'll definitely get more information.
Yeah. You'd be surprised at how many people don't use those techniques or those strategies, and they just go from problem to problem, situation to situation, and they don't take the time for themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. But we're going to change all that. Please let people know how they can get in touch with you if they would like to follow up and especially help you with the work that you're doing.
Okay, well, the best way would be, I believe, by Gmail is JLitkett, JLITKETT @gmail.com. Just contact me. You want to talk or something like that? Just write me first. I say write me, and then we'll take it from there. And tell me what you need, what you're interested in, and then all can be revealed.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And once again, your show on YouTube, people can check out the episodes, the shows that you have put together. What's the name of the channel?
It's Now We Rise, and you just put in Now We Rise. If that doesn't come up, you just put in Now We Rise, JamesLitkett, and then when you put in my name, it'll come up. And you can see all my shows that I did when I was at M&M. I think Outside with You is up there now.
Well, I'm definitely going to be going to the channel and checking that out. So I thank you so much again. Thank you for the coverage.
Oh, I thank you.
Of course. Absolutely. One of my favorite people in Harlem as well. So keep up the amazing work, and we'll have you back to follow up with you with the retreats that you would like to put together. And Definitely support the brother, support the work that he is doing. Again, Brother Chaplin, JamesLitkett. Let me get it right. And,
all right.
And of course, this is WHCR 90.3 FM. We're going to close out with another track from Nubia the MC off of her album, The Uptown Queen. This track is called Top Lady. And you've been listening to PJ's Show with your host, Pojanee PJ Fleury. See you next week, same time, same place. Peace.
Now this song was written strictly for women with ambition who believe in large living. I propose a toast to you and your attitude. Top lady in the house, keep it moving. I respect all that you do. top lady in red, sophisticated, very well dressed and educated. Everyone knows when I'm in the building. Number one boss chick pulling strings up the corporate ladder. Yes, watch me rise. CEO of my enterprise, ready for success. I'm strictly biz, grown and sexy with a slow gin fizz. Top ladies represent Mercedes. The money spent, ain't nothing else going on but the rent. Go crazy with the gentlemen. Raise your glass, raise your flame. You're the type of woman that has everything. Raise your glass, raise your flame. Beauty and brains and a wedding ring. Raise your glass, raise your flame. Top lady in the house, girl, do your thing. A top lady is a dame with the claim to fame. Don't complain or play if you ain't got game. Top lady in black with an entourage, misbehaving in a limo car. I step on stage, round of applause. They scream my name cause I'm a superstar. Drinks on me in the VIP. Bodyguards deliver my currency. I flow at the show, collect my dough. 4 hours of sleep, I'm ready to go. Top ladies represent Mercedes. The money spent, ain't nothing else going on but the rent. Go crazy with the gentlemen. Raise your glass, raise your flame. You're the type of woman that has everything. Raise your glass, raise your flame. Beauty and brains and a wedding ring. Raise your glass, raise your flame. Top lady in the house, girl, do your thing. A top lady is a dame with the claim to fame. Don't complain or play if you ain't got game. Top lady in white, I got my visa. Gangster leaning on the Tower of Pisa. I'm sipping on English harbor rum. Calypso dancing and Caribbean drums. To the land of the lion and Zulu kicks. Tropical safaris and pyramids. I'm traveling Zoom in a private jet. Up to the moon, see nothing